Already live. Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Alex Koloskov. You probably know me already. Welcome to our Q&A session, question and answer live session for students of certification program. Please let me know if you hear me well, if you see me well. I'm looking at the chat, so you should have the same. You should see the chat. Just send plus if everything is fine. If something is wrong, well, tell me what is wrong. Hello, Lida. Omega, awesome. Woo, Texas. Greetings from sunny California. We still have quite a summer. Yesterday, actually, it's still here. Not much of burning trees anymore, looks like, at least by the sky. But so far, so good. Good morning, Australia. David sees hello from Netherlands. Okay, can hear well. So should be good. Should be good in terms of the quality, and good to go. As usual, I'm first looking at the forum, if we have any submissions, some questions, and we do have a few. And then I'll be ready to answer any of your questions or whatever you may have in the chat. Okay. Hi, Jim. Hi, Dad. Oh, guys, how's everything? We have people all around the world, right? And it's still running, right? This COVID stuff. I wasn't thinking that it would be that long. But anyway, I hope the economy will survive, global economy. But of course, it will be shifted a lot towards online. You see what is going on, right? You see what areas are dropping like crazy, talking about economy. And you see what is growing, right? Everything that, any service, any product that runs online, just going up, which should be good time for product photography. It may be not really local product photography, maybe small businesses will really, may not survive, some of them, but relatively large business should be fine. And hopefully you'll be able to get some, clients. Yeah, in UK it's rising again. All this, that's, my view on all this is probably not the same as many of yours. I don't see this. That's something that should require lockdowns and all that crazy stuff. It's just, if you look at what was going on in hospitals for years, tens of years, 100 years, people know how to deal with infections. The doctors, and they didn't wear all this, mask and all this stuff all the time. I think we should do the same. We should protect vulnerables way more than we do now, but we should release other people and businesses and, everything to run. Because I don't think the virus like this can be stopped with all this stuff that is going on. It's just too contagious to be stopped like this. So anyway, I do what I can do, right? Thing that I enjoy. Photography, teaching, all this. I cannot do the rest, and I'm not really kind of thinking too much about things that I cannot control. My focus is on things that I control in my life. Okay, guys, let's see what we can do in terms of learning product photography. I can share my screen. We do have a few submissions, okay? And it would be, this looks correct. So one question, and you basically should be ready to ask me questions and just continue this conversation. We do have 1 hour for everything. So it was a question where we can find, you can find all the previous Q&A sessions. There are two places. Depends on where you going through the program, either on Photigy website, it's under additional materials, okay, webinar certification program. It's listed at the bottom, you know, they go from top to the bottom. And if you go on a different platform, it should be here under additional materials on the last one. Probably we'll kind of do it on the different menu item. So it will be webinars. We'll fix it. So the webinar is here, okay, as well. This is the latest one, okay? So this is easy to answer. It was easy. Another question from Eleanor. I'm sure, Eleanor, if you are here or not with us. Hi, Anthony. But the question was about food photography and actually about translume, heavy translume. Eleanor saying that great for the heavyweight Savage translume plastic, you know, the thing that I was using for creating diffusers. It's good for creating gradients. Eleanor saying it is also good for food. This is where I want to talk. I may not agree completely with this. And she's saying that I'm not getting great result with it and wondering if anyone has experience with it. So translume plastic, Eleanor, if you don't have great result, you need to show us, you know, where the result is not great. Because I truly believe that this is an amazing material to create do-it-yourself diffusers for product photography. It's heavy. It really hides the light that is behind it. And yeah, you need a little bit more power compared to, let's say, medium or lightweight or the, how you call it, that fabric that they use on, you know, viscose diffusers. Yeah, you do need to have more power to work with heavyweight translume, but it's great for smooth gradients. However, for food, I don't think diffusers are really good. If you remember our food lessons, if you go through them, I didn't use much of diffusers. I mean, I used, but not much, because in general, food really loves sharp light, especially, you know, there's some like edge light behind the light that is behind the subject. Anything that can create a nice contour or a nice light, nice highlights. And to get highlights, you need to put light behind. So for food photography, I would say that it should be less diffused. And really, for food photography, you don't need a heavy weight. Guys, there is no glossy surfaces, nice, flat, polished metal or plastic in food. There are some on the plates, but I mean, we don't really care about creating nice gradients on the plates, right? On silverware, yes, this is the only place where you may need heavyweight diffusers, I mean, heavyweight translume, when you have lots of silverware and you need to have kind of smooth and nice gradients on them. But in general, for food, you don't need to have much of diffusion. And any diffuser will work, even lightweight. Okay? Okay, Matt, I got your question. We'll talk about this a little bit later. So first, I kind of talking about things that were submitted earlier on the forum. Okay, so this is about gradient and food and heavyweight translume plastic. In short, you don't really need it for food photography, that heavyweight diffusion. And about this guy, I didn't see him, Andrew Savarni. Skriwani. I just, you know, skimmed through the video. Looks like he's brilliant photographer. It's awesome that we have such, what is that? Adobe Creative Cloud. Interesting. We have a workshop from him. But the question why he prefer strobes and ambient light and basic continuous light. and he shot at lower shutter speed, right? Because in product photography, I always teach that we try to shoot at maximum X-sync speed, right? Usually it's around 1/100 of a second, just because, well, just to cut ambient light from affecting the picture and work only with the strobes that you have specifically for highlighting the subject, right? You don't need ambient light to interfere with this, unless you use continuous lights. Ambient, it's not something that I would consider as a work light. When you're in studio, unless again you use your window for this, but it's a different story. Not talking about this. But if you work for studio, you're supposed to only work with the lights that you have for the shot, right? It can be mixed with continuous and strobe. And in this case, yeah, we don't use the highest possible X-sync. We adjust it depending on how bright our continuous light, just to work together. I do have workshops in ProClub. I do have workshops for this when I do mix strobe and continuous, and it works great. If color temperature within the same range, then it's perfect. So good LED lights are really great for this, to be mixed. But the same thing for food photography. The same thing. It's a cool idea to mix, because again, one of the biggest disadvantages, well, there are two disadvantages of shooting at low X-sync speed, or if you want to talk about this, shooting with continuous light. First, that you can't really shoot macro because of the vibration, all that stuff. At longer shutter speed, it may affect your picture, because you may have train running somewhere like 2 blocks away, and it will be still a little bit of trembling on the ground, and with long shutter speed, you will see this as a blurry, especially on the macro shots. But for food, it's not the case. You won't see that it's not. It's not macro. So for food, it's fine to use mix, and it's not a problem at all. And why he's using it? Well, again, I didn't watch the whole workshop, but I think this is something that, well, he found useful, right? If there is no splash, if it's just let's still, it just well, he even may use ambient light, let's say window light, as a work light to bring less light, to use less light, that he brings to the set, right? Because for food photography, in many cases, you move your studio to the client space, right? It's not like they bring it to you. Sometimes they do, but you're usually working at a restaurant or in a kitchen, not in your studio in many cases. And if you can bring less lights with you, it's cool. Meaning that you can use ambient light as a large light sources, for example, big window. In this case, you should combine it by lowering shutter speed. So it's completely fine, Eleanor, to lower shutter speed if you mix the light. Just look for color temperature. You should equalize it or use it for your advantage. For example, if ambient light, let's say it could be tungsten light, not the window light, tungsten light that you have in restaurant, and then you use strobes. If you use it as is, it will be quite different color temperature, right? Strobe is daylight, tungsten is about 3000 Kelvin. Strobe is around, between 5 and 6 Kelvin, 1000 Kelvin, right? So one will be bluish or one will be yellowish. And you need to, kind of accommodate this. You need to think how to do this. Either you equalize it by using some filters on your strobes to make them warmer, or, for example, you can use that warm light the way that you want. So it will be some edge light, which will add, some warmness to your food. Stuff like this. Okay, it's all possible. It's creative approach, and it's great. Well, with more shots, you will kind of learn how to do this. On my course, on what I showed, I used purely speed lights, because again, that's my nature. I love to control everything, and when I use only strobes, I know that I can do this at any place. I don't care about lights. I don't care what they have or they don't have. I bring my stuff there and boom, I do the shot. This is why I kind of lean towards controlling everything with the strobe light only. Okay. Alrighty, what questions do we have? So, and the last thing, yes, we adding food photography to the course more. It's coming. We're working on this. I remember my promise last month when on the recent Q&A. So yes, it will be there. It will be cool. Matt, what is the best? We have question coming. What is the best tilt shift focal length lens for product and food photography? Well, you know, I never worked with 35mm tilt shift. My tilt shift was the view camera, right? And there are different. I had some from 45mm to 120, but on a view camera, it's quite different recalculation. It's not the same as 35mm focal length. I would say for 1 second. Product and food, yeah. It should be around 90mm. One lens and about 45mm another lens. It's quite different approach, really, because for product photography, it's okay to use longer focal lengths for many, especially small products. If it's small, you have to use something like 90mm. On the other hand, many products, you've seen it. Oh, it's getting hot. 1 second, let me turn on this guy. So, on other hand, when we shoot products, it look really cool, especially larger one. You know, something like bottles or more, so that big. It looks great when we have wider focal length lens. It has that specific look which I call it monumental, but it really looks great. So thinking about tilt shift, what tilt shift is doing, you know, all this crazy stuff, it may be more useful to have a little bit wider lens than longer, maybe like 45mm. Okay. This is for product. For food, it's opposite. I would go more with like 90mm because food looks really great on some close-ups sometimes, and tilt shift looks really great at this point. We do have, you can take a look, we do have several tutorials, but again, it's on Pro Club site. I'm sure if you're a member or not, we do have sales when you can get membership for like $19 per month. I think it's worth it at least to get 1 month there and look for, watch tutorials that may be interesting for you, because it's more high level comparing to certification program. At least first part of the certification program is more for beginners. Pro Club mostly for more advanced photographers, but you will find all kind of cool techniques. Okay, let's move to the next one. Omega asking, Alex, I just bought your complete course. Awesome. Food is my #1 and product is #2 favorite. To get started, should I invest in constant lighting or strobe flash lighting? Please advise me. Omega, I don't have enough information to give you such advice. So I'm asking you, is high-speed photography interesting for you or not? You know, splash, smoke, all this flying stuff, you know, droplets. If it's in the area of your interest, because it can be part of food photography as well, you know, pouring liquids, all that stuff, it's a food photography. You cannot do it well with continuous light. You really need to have a strobe to freeze the action, because we don't use camera shutter speed to freeze action. We use short flash duration of the strobe to freeze action. It's way shorter than any camera speed. It can be like 1/8,000 of a second. So in this case, strobe. If everything that you're gonna shoot will be still live, continuous light will work fine, especially modern lights that are not really hot, talking about LEDs. They're great, they're powerful, they're not gonna burn your studio. I still prefer strobes, just because strobe give me both. I can easily shoot high-speed stuff, I can shoot still, it's more versatile, right? But it may cost more. Actually, no, it's not cost more. No, it used to be, but now with all these Godox, newer and other brands, you have beautiful and well working strobe light for the price of LED lights, for the price of continuous light. So if I would be on your place, I would buy strobe lighting. But again, I don't know exactly your situation and what is your area of interest and what kind of price points you have, budget and stuff like this. Okay, I'll let you know if it answered or not the question. She's asking, found a recorded Q&A session under part 12 edition. Okay, but we'll look can access. Okay, I see now. I see. This is cool point. All the materials, they kind of drip in feed or whatever you call it. You need to watch lesson to get access to to the next one. So it prevents you from jumping back and forth. We have this system, and it should work this way, except these Q&A. So says, thank you for bringing this in. We're gonna somehow exclude it from this rule. You have to have access to Q&A without going through the whole stuff, the whole list of lessons. I'm gonna pin this to our team to make it done. Okay. Next one. Nate asking, with the honeycomb grid on 7-inch reflector on the background behind product, I'm getting some grid lines showing. Is the reflector too close to the background? I have had about 2-3 feet away from white paper. Oh yes, yes, Nate. This is the biggest issue. This is the biggest disadvantage of using honeycomb grids. Sometimes, depending on the distance to the diffuser or reflector, depending on the shape of your particular reflector and the light and stuff like this, it will project that pattern, that honeycomb pattern on the screen, on whatever you pointed. And there is nothing that you can do except probably you can put some diffuser, some really light diffuser in front, but again, it won't be a spot anymore because we use the honeycomb grid to get a spot, right? This is what the best solution for this. It requires some okay. It requires some investment, but still. So it's called Fresnel lens, you know it, right? Fresnel lens attachment, because the whole light costs more. Just an attachment, you see, there are all kind of attachment. It used to be a rare thing and very expensive. Now for $40, for example, $50, you can have Bowen's mount of the Fresnel lens, and it's focusable, 10x focus. So it's really can go, really wide or really narrow without any of those issues. It's just nice soft spot. It will be blurred. It's really like a nice spot. It's not the optical projector with sharp edges. No, it's just soft spot. Get one of these, maybe two, and it will be like set of 10 different honeycomb grids. It's really worth it. It will eliminate all these issues with honeycomb grid, because there is no way to easily get rid of that pattern. Yeah, you can move light away, but if you need it there, you need it there. I mean, the spread and stuff, it's like sometimes you cannot. This is the solution, okay? I didn't try, by the way, this particular one, this Photigy, but it may be good. It may be good. I do have aperture, this one, and the previous version of it. They don't list it here. But in general, it's super cool stuff. You see, we have, yeah, it's comparable to the honeycomb grids. Okay. Okay, let's move to the next question then. You know, guys, sometimes I don't need on this screen. Oh, let me drop it for you guys into the chat. This is 1 second. Oh, okay, it is. So the link is in the chat. That Amazon page. Jim is asking, do you have a recommendation for the type of business to create a product photography, for example, LLC? When should I pursue creating a business entity? How or should I wait until I start to sell my work? Can I write off startup equipment purchases? Big question, Jim, and good question, actually. I'll try to answer it relatively short. So you're in America, in US, right? I assume, because I know these laws, at least I don't know how it's in other countries. Most likely it's kind of similar. You know, when you do work and if you don't receive money, you definitely don't need to register anything. It's not required, right? If you receive money, you also don't need to really register. You may need to get a license on your county or your city to run the business. They more care about license, but it may be just a sole partnership, basically LLC or something. And I'm not sure, can you write off stuff if you don't have a registered business entity? I still think yes, if you have profit. If you don't have profit, it's probably, and you for example, you invest in, right? First you buying stuff. So with LLC is the best. Why? Because everything, all income goes directly to your personal account. So all in one bucket. It's not separated. Sometimes it's disadvantages. Has disadvantages, but in general, this is advantages. Why? Let's say you registered, and first year you spend $20,000 or $10,000 buying equipment, and you also spend half a day in your office or living room or whatever, doing this, photography stuff, basically trying to run business. So you can write off not only that $10,000 as something that went away, your expenses. You can write off, how you call it, lighting, water, all this household expenses with the proportion of how much space of your house, if you're running business from the house, you use for the business, and business registered on the same address, of course. In this case, it's super cool because you can write off lots of stuff, and it can be your loss. First few years in US, IRS Revenue Service, right? They are okay if you have loss on your business, meaning no money in or very little money in and lots of money out. And this will just lower because it goes into the single bucket, your personal sort of assets, whatever you have income. It will just lower the amount that you are going to pay taxes from because of the loss. So LLC is the best in this case. And it costs very little to open it. You can do it online. For example, we did our S Corp. It was C Corp then because we can't do S Corp, but we did. Then we converted it into S Corp. It's basically same as LLC, but a little bit different. By ourselves, Zhenya Larionova, my wife, did it just online. She paid, I don't know, like $40 for some company that on autopilot they created documents for us and we submitted, boom, and that's it. It's super easy. It was in 2006, so these days I think it's even cheaper, or maybe even legal fees is very little for the third party. You just pay for whatever, pay government for the opening business entity. Okay. I am not really, accountant. We do have guys who are doing this for us. You better to consult with them, but this is my view on this. Okay, and this is my view. You definitely can write off all that stuff. Okay, Nader. Hello, Nader. Asking about. I want to ask about the sharp cut line on glossy subject. How can I make it if I have some props around? Okay, I see. How I can make it if props. So you're talking about props that basically blocking the light, right? Blocking the light that you may have, well, the sharp cutoff lines. If you really need sharp cutoff line and the prop is blocking it, you do two shots, right? With prop and without prop. It may not look really natural if, for example, you have something standing next to the bottle and bottle has sharp cutoff line all the way, next to the stuff. We may see that something is strange. It's almost like, you cut off and put something that doesn't belong there. So I rarely do this. I really, if prop is blocking, that's fine. Let it block where it's blocked, and let it run when it's not blocking the light. But this is the only thing that you can do in physics. If it's on your way, you either live with it or remove it and shoot without. Really, but it's fine actually to shoot. You can have subject. I do this many times. Maybe not for gradients, but for other stuff, lighting related still. I have subjects. I shoot it almost like in perfect condition, the best way that I can with the light, and then I put stuff around and shoot it. Ooh, this is why I don't like water on the table, but it was a good movement outside of the table, not inside. So you shoot it first alone, then put stuff, you shoot together, and then you have two perfect pictures. You can always, use in Photoshop, blend it with anything that you want. This is the only way. Okay. Hope it helps. And Omega, thank you for answer. Appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you. Already, Jim, glad it works. So one more question. Do you know any good places to create a quality business portfolio website for those not skilled in creating websites? Jim, well, there are many sources like this. I'm maybe a little bit outdated in terms of I didn't really look for what is coming new. For example, we know how to build websites for sure, but my portfolio is on a completely ready solution. It's called SmugMug, right? It's specifically made for photographers. And again, I don't know if it's really right now the best, but I know they're really good because we're paying them either 150 per year or 300 per year. So there are some plans, I'm not sure. But what they do, since it's not just a website for photographers, so it's a portfolio. If you look at colorscope.com, you will see that, well, this is something that without W stop working, I don't know what's going on. I need to put www. This is how it looked like, okay, my portfolio. Just galleries, not much. I mean, nothing really. You can now click it, it now loads. It fast loading, it has huge resolution, all that stuff. There are many sources like this. What you will find on SmugMug, though, you can find some private galleries. And I think it's unlimited storage. What it means, for example, when you work for the client, you can upload your proofs, hundreds and hundreds of photos and highest resolution JPEGs or whatever, well, probably JPEGs, you can upload and let them choose something that they like or not like, and it will be a completely private link. And you're not paying additional money for the space that you use for this and whatever. Then you also can then upload, for example, high resolution there, give the client a link that protected with passport so they can download finals. You can also sell stuff there, right? There are things that you can have a gallery and then random people can order prints if you have something like that, Another source that came to my mind, 500px. They used to be good. They less expensive, but the same thing. They do have space for the portfolio, and it's ready for photographers. It's built in. Okay, you can look. Probably there are more, but you don't need to build your website unless you need to have some crazy functionality. I don't know what kind of. It's good to go, all these portfolio websites. Okay. If you look at Builder, right? And it's all about functionality. If you need booking or not, all this, what there? Snapper, no, it's not. Portfolio, box.net, something completely new. Again, look at this 10 best photography websites, format.co, teach radar, expert. No, this is. So portfolio box for sure. The first thing I always look for the prices. Do they have pricing? Pricing, what the pricing is. How much? $7, $8 per month, right? 500 images, 50 pages, blah, blah, blah. You can go this way. But again, if you are sure that you'll be doing this for serious, you can pay more for something like SmugMag, and it has tons of functionality, like I described. Okay. I hate this button. Photography. So you can look Squarespace, Wix, SmugMag, Weebly, Duda. Ooh, WordPress. No, it's not easy thing. GoDaddy. It's also. I would probably look for at least first 3, maybe 4. These 2 I don't know, but the rest is not what I would. Not WordPress, guys. No, not WordPress. You don't want to go with WordPress. I'm launching this new product called Online School Creator, where I'll be teaching how to create schools online, basically how to sell courses, and I'll tell there about WordPress. It's a cool stuff to start with, but you don't want to go that route. Okay, let me switch back. Let's see what other questions we have. How much time, Steve is asking, per week will it take to work through the assignments? And how long typically does it take to go through the entire course? Steve, it's really sort of like a personal. I see people who doing the whole course for less than 6 months. I see people who still somewhere in the middle, next second year. We used to try to limit like 12 months access to this to make people run faster. Then it was lots of complaints like, oh, I have some situation where I can go through the course in 12 months. So we kind of lift that limit. It's unlimited now. It's up to you. It's really it's your pace. And if you don't have time, don't do this. If you have time, you better do this, because what I learned for all these years doing entrepreneurship, where there is nobody on top of me, there is no boss, right? I'm my own boss, and the biggest issue is motivation. If I lose in motivation, sometimes I'm losing it, and especially it's crucial for the start. Whatever you're starting with, you usually have like lots of motivation. Oh, I bought the course, let me do this. I do it every week, and then you go slower. If you won't learn how to pump yourself up, how to kind of boost motivation when it goes down, you'll basically lose your money and time. You paid for something, for the program, for the course, whatever. You dropped it slowly somewhere in the middle, and you never get to the end. You lost money, you lost your time, you didn't get skills. So I would say faster is better. Catch it once you have that motivation, then you have ball rolling, whatever. But I mean, from our side, there is no limitations. You can do any at any pace. Okay. Okay. Ken, thanks, Jim. Jim is fine. No, sorry, we are here to talk. So questions is good. Questions are good. Any sites that sell cool props specifically for product photography? Eye candy. Amazon sometimes has too much stuff. Well, yeah, Jim, it's props for photography. It's really wide area. I mean, props can be anything, right? For example, I found a great place for props is Michael's or John's. No, more like Michael's. That store that has decorations, different. They sell stuff for people who decorate houses, decorate some little stuff, or there are tons of stuff. Sort of like some of them fakeish. I mean, like flowers, for example, but still can work. And it's easy because I go there, I can touch, I can see it's real. Because in Amazon, you never know what they send you. I mean, sometimes it's easy to understand, sometimes it's not, especially for the props. So I really go to Michael's for many of our props. For just photography related, like fake eyes and stuff like this, we do have the Trend Groove Studios. One second, I never remember the URL, so I'll search it first. Trend Groove Studio. Trend Groove. We should have it somewhere. Okay, fake eyes for photography. It's funny. Let me show you. So when I start searching on Google, Photigy, how to make fake eyes, right? YouTube fake site tubes and do photography. Amazon, Pinterest, Studio 12, digital photography. How it's AliExpress. Well, we should have somewhere, guys. They sell, but they used to sell great stuff, but it's super expensive. No. And oh, here it is. High quality. Is it this one? Okay, they changed it. Okay, it's not Trend Groove Studio. It's setshop.com now. Looks like they changed. So setshop.com. They have all kind of stuff for photo surface set supplies. Kind of cool stuff, right? This is probably what we exactly need. Let me drop this link. They have fake eyes. They have Trend Go ice cubes. Okay, this is Trend Go ice cubes. All kind of stuff here. We have these cherries, for example. We have this. Well, you're buying them. So check it out. This is probably cool things, especially for product photography. This is kind of made for them. Okay, this is the answer. Okay, this is the answer for your question. Julian is asking, Alex, good job shooting. I got a job shooting catalog for silk fashion on a house mannequin. I spent lots of time clipping path liquefy and frequency separation to make it look nice. Can you recommend a good outsourced service to delegate this job? Julian, I would love to, but unfortunately, I don't have specific guys that I can recommend because I never worked with such people. I know they, bombarding me emails, clipping path everywhere, but I don't have, unfortunately. You may try to find them on Upwork, though. Maybe they have, because Upwork, the cool stuff about Upwork, we use it a lot for all kind of stuff where we need specialists to okay, because there is rating, right? And it's easy to find out with reviews, with rating, is real people, how they do. So if I search, for example, clipping path, right? Just trying, never did it, but there are people there, right? And there is rating. For example, guys charging $10 per hour. They made, and this is kind of confirmed because they do receive money through Upwork, $90,000, right? So probably they're doing relatively good work, right? You search, I mean, look at them. They probably have tons of stuff to, like a portfolio or whatever. You see, you can see the price and how much other people were paying to them. You can watch their video. Probably they have some URL. Well, it's not out here, but once you hire them, they can send you out even before. What you do, you create your job, post a new job, and boom, it will be tons of people to select. Just look at the rating and decide. Again, you can always, I suggest you can always ask them to do a test job for you. Most of those guys do it for free. You just send a couple files, then send you back. Look at what you got. You're not obligated to pay, nothing. So this is how I would approach this if I would be in a place. Okay. Let's jump to next question. Hope this helps, Julian. Oh, countries where service. I just need to test. Yeah, you need to test, definitely. Okay, I'm asking Alex, I own Canon 90D, 100mm lens and 35mm. I want to invest in at least 2 more lenses for food and product. What additional lens would you recommend as a must-have? I also do the thing very important to have full frame or mirrorless camera to do a really good job. Okay, Omega, 2 questions. First, why you think that you need 2 more lenses? Do you have just money sitting and kind of hard to keep them, in your pocket? Just tell me what you cannot do with the lenses you have. You have 100mm and you have 35. Great. Were they not really working for you? Was it any situation where you cannot shoot with them? Because if it's not, if you just, theoretically thinking, maybe that's about, hey, Alex, what I need. I can tell you that you don't need lenses. It's enough. It's enough. 35, it's great. It's wide angle. You can do all kind of cool stuff. Let's see that monumental look in product photography. You have 100mm. I am not sure if it's macro or non-macro. So the only thing that you may need to have is a macro lens. True macro lens is lens with the 1:1 magnification ratio. Look for specification for magnification ratio. But it's needed only for jewelry or for really small stuff. If you're shooting something like that big, coins, whatever, yes, you need a macro lens. If not, then you need even macro lens. Okay. You better invest in light modifiers and lighting and grip. This is way more crucial for a good shot. Really, not the lens, not your camera. And talking about crop sensor versus full frame sensor. No, never. It never will. If client will start asking you what camera do you use, you can always say what requirements do you have for your shot. If you kind of feel that, hey, this is big guys and they want Hasselblad to be used, you don't tell them that, hey, I have some little camera. It's not their business what you're shooting with and how you get your camera for that shot. You ask them what is the requirements for you. What resolution do you need? The minimum resolution. And then you can easily rent anything that you want. You can rent Hasselblad. You can rent tons of lenses because client will be paying for them. You know how it works in a professional world. We make client to pay for our equipment most of the time, even if we own it. I was surprised at the beginning, but when I had a professional photo rep working for us, And it was inquiry, bids from advertising agencies. They start putting, the expenses sheet, all this, like a list of stuff that we're gonna provide to the client, how much it cost. They asked me to put numbers for every equipment, camera, lens, lighting. I said, well, why we taking money like rental for the shot? Because we owe it. They said they don't care. It just if they require something specific. It's not always like this. No, with small clients probably not. But what I'm saying, that you can always rent stuff for the good shot. For the small shot, they shouldn't care. And 22, 24 megapixel crop sensor camera is more than enough. It's really, I mean, with modern cameras, you can even stretch it a little bit if they need like 30 megapixel. You can do a little bit in Photoshop, the final TIFF file. Nobody will tell with sharpening, but nobody really cares if it's real client. If the people, they have no idea about photography. Some friend told them, oh, ask for photographer, it should be not less than 40 megapixel full frame. Then I'm sure if you want to work with such client, because it will be really pain in the ass. They will, ask you to do some crazy stuff which they just have no idea. Okay, so this is my approach to this. Camera, lens, it's not that important. Lighting, grip, how are you going to hold stuff, your quality of your gradients. Can you, do you have all these diffusers that you can suspend in the air, not just hang them, but, put it like that. You need to have specific, diffuser with specific frame, with specific grip to hold it. This is what's important. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble shooting simple stuff if you didn't have it. Okay? Okay. Too close, too wide. Yeah, okay, I see. Too close, too wide. Then get in the middle. 65 millimeter. But I never shoot it at 65. I'll tell you this. At the beginning, I don't have it anymore. But on the other hand, I don't do a commercial work these days. It's all educational, but still, I don't use it. I used to have 24-70 millimeters Canon lens. That L lens. I think, yeah, 24-70. Zoom, kind of not fun zoom, but it was good lens, and it covered me completely. It wasn't macro. This is the only area where it couldn't work for me, but the rest was fine. But really, I found it to work on either on wider, around 30 millimeters, or on the long end. I rarely use in the middle. You can, you still, I mean, I see what you're saying. You can always kind of benefit from lens around 50-60 millimeter, but it's hard to tell that it's required, really. If you have money, buy it, that's fine. But again, how many lights do you have? What kind of quality of those lights? How many diffusers? How many Fresnel lens you do have? How many all kind of arms, boom arms, just holding arms, clamps? How many of this stuff you have? If it's not enough, better buy that stuff. Norman is asking, Alex, how do you deal with the lots of dust setting on the back glossy plexiglass? How we do? Photoshop. Well, there are two things. There are anti-static spray that I can, there are different, but I have one somewhere that I can just use to wipe off table before I start putting stuff on it. So I spray it either on the towel or on a table. I wipe it off. It helps a little bit because it's not, when you cleaning the plastic table, it will attract everything because of the static electricity, right? So that anti-static stuff will help to get less dust, but it still will settle down. I use compressed air to blow it, that little air on the balloon. I also recently bought cool stuff that kind of replaced all the sprays. I'll show you in a moment, 1 second. On Amazon, I bought it. 1 second. It's sort of like a blower, but mini blower that works really cool, replacing all that stuff. Here it is. So it's called compressed air electric air duster. This is 500 watt. It's not on batteries. Batteries, something that not gonna work, I think. It's a little bit a device like this size, but man, it's so powerful. Sometimes even too much. But it's really cool. There are different, attachments. This may be too much, but at least it can blow things away from anything. Okay, this may help. That's it. Not much that we can deal with. And then Photoshop, of course, clean it after the shooting. Okay, yeah, Nate, have a good weekend too. I'm glad that you joined. Okay, guys, we're almost there. Let me see if I did answer all the questions or not. The last one was again from, I'm talking about forum, from Eleanor. I bought the Matthew Flag frame 4048 by 48 heavy translume and not having the best success securing the translume to the frame. Okay, so it was the question how to, if you have the do-it-yourself diffusers, you buy a frame, right? Scream frame, it's called Scream frame. And then you put that Savage plastic, either heavyweight or lightweight or whatever. And you need to kind of make it flat without wrinkles. And it's a little bit hard, it's true. What I do, it can be anything. People suggest Velcro. Velcro might work, but Velcro, and you need to remove it. I don't, actually Velcro might be cool. I use just some really good Scotch tape. But what I do, let's say I fixed first on one side. I fixed the sheet of the plastic, the heavyweight plastic, for example. Then I squeeze the frame so there is a tension. Squeeze it to the opposite side and then fix it with the tape, the second part of the sheet, right? And then it will release by itself, making a tension. And then I do this with opposite sides. It's kind of, it's not an easy, I mean, maybe not will work immediately, but if you master it, it's possible to have really nice tension from all sides, because you kind of, before fixing it, you will squeeze it. And then, Eleanor, it will be flat. Okay, so this is my approach. I'm talking about this forum topic. Let me drop it, guys, so you know what I'm talking about, but there is no reason to share the screen. Okay. Yeah, Norman, about cutting down time of Photoshop, completely understand. Yeah, that's my biggest struggle as well. All this dust. Yeah. Thank you, Jim. I wish I had a pile of money. Yeah, that's all for us. Okay, thank you, Omega. Thank you for joining us. Okay, guys, I think it's it, right? That's it. We should be done. 1 hour. It was a great conversation. Wow, so many good questions. So much for joining it. It's really because with all those questions and my explanation, we do make a really good job for everyone, guys. I really appreciate for you to come into this webinar, for this Q&A session with these all questions, because they are good questions, and I hope my answers are good as well. And hundreds of people on certification program who didn't attend will watch this later, and it will be good source for learning for them because of you. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate. Alrighty, now it's time to say goodbye. As usual, if you have any serious issues, if something is urgent, use our help desk. There is little either drift or help desk, and we'll have it answered in 24 hours. If not, I'll wish you good luck. Just, well, be positive, especially in this 2020 year with all this crazy stuff which is going on. Economy, politics, especially in the US, COVID. What we can do, we can be positive. We can think positively. This is the only thing that you control. What is going here? I kind of repeating it all the time, but it's really the best skill to have. Control your mind, your thinking, to be positive. Okay, I'll see you next month. It will be an announcement and the same routine. You need to register the webinar to receive all these links, and we'll talk already. Thank you. Goodbye, guys. Bye.